This scene behind me, I kind of saw it as I was coming over the hill just now, a little ways back, and I could see the composition kind of happening with the tree in front of the waterfall and the waterfall disappearing in behind it. But the closer I got, the composition kind of fell apart. So I've kind of done the best I can, really. I've come across a fence, there's like a catchment fence running along the bottom of this boulder field here, which is running up behind me. And I've tried my best to sort of like do what I could see in my mind's eye, but yeah, I don't think it's happening really at the moment. I've got the 24mm lens on, which I think is plenty big enough for where I am and what I'm trying to do, but it's just not working. I can't get it to work the way I thought it would. But here's one to learn from. I'll stick that up for you now, and let's see what else we can find. So I've just come this side of the fence. I was stood up behind me, just up behind here on the other side of the fence, looking up towards the waterfall. But as I was coming along, I just saw where the water comes down through and heads on down through the valley. We've got this lovely little footbridge that goes across to some lovely little steps that go off around the headland. Now, I quite like this composition. There is a nice composition to be had here. So what I've done is I've started from high up, and I'm basically going to work my way closer to the bridge. I think I need to be high up looking down towards it because I want to sort of get in sort of all the water, the shapes of the water going through and all the rest of it. And I want to try and keep out the sky, although it's obviously getting very dark here now. The sun's gone down behind the mountains. It's still, because it's dark here, behind is really blowing out the highlights and stuff. So it's a bit of a weird one. What is actually happening is, although I'm exposing for the bridge, it's blowing out the background and it's kind of going to nothing. And I quite like that. Let me show you on the back of the camera. Looking at the moment, going in through there, I quite like the muted colours. So I think going back into Lightroom or Photoshop, I'm going to mute the colours quite nicely. I don't think it'll be black and white, but definitely muted. If I bring you up there, that's what we're kind of looking at there. So as you can see, there is a bit of a play going on between the light and the dark. Now, if I come back down onto the camera, you can see just up here, it starts where you start sort of disappearing into the distance, you start getting like a layer. And because it's overexposed slightly in that corner, it almost looks like mist, although there isn't any mist there, as you can probably pretty much tell. But that's the composition. It's going to take a little bit of work, I think, but I think if I mute the colours, I think this will be the shot. So this is the scene I'm looking at the moment. Now we've got all this action going on in the camera just here, right at the foreground. Initially, I had brought the camera around to the left-hand side a little bit, where you can see it just moves this V here. It moves it to the left-hand side, and it gets very heavy on the left-hand side because you've got a rock in the darkness just there. And I just felt that the water needed to come across the frame and disappear into the background over to the right, but it didn't feel very balanced. So I just brought the camera to the left a little bit, which then brought the two trees in the distance over to the right hand side, and this rock still stays on the left hand third, but all the action's going on slap bang in the middle of the frame. And I felt that really sort of balanced it out a little bit more than how I had to start with. I've had to also be very careful, because if I lift the camera up slightly, as you can see, you get this white area come in the top right hand corner, where you've got the sky just encroaching over the horizon there. So it was a case of just bringing the camera down a little bit, make a bit more of the foreground, and this is the shot. Well, as usual, it's a little bit of a race against time at the minute. Once the sun goes down, it goes very, very dark, which is what's pretty much happening now. It is playing havoc with exposures and stuff like that, because you've got the very white waterfall coming over there, which is absolutely huge, the actual waterfall itself. And I'm just basically trying to do a silhouette with these trees here, and we've got a pathway running up through the middle. I'll talk you through what I'm trying to do, and then we'll see if the shot come out. Like I say, I don't think it's going to somehow, but I'll talk you through it anyway. Well, that's pretty much what we're looking at. I'm trying to get that sort of composition going on there. Very difficult to try not to keep this, or to try to keep this triangle out of the scene, but focusing on, you've got this log and what have you going on here, and you've got the tree, and kind of sort of set up kind of like that. It's not really working, because what's happening really is that the tree, as you can see, is very dark against a dark background, and it's trying to get that separation is becoming a bit of a problem, because the sun's gone down, it's getting very dark, as I said, and so yeah, that's kind of what's happening. But if we go forward a little bit, and we'll have a look over there, look at all that business going on. So it's a case of putting the 100 to 400 on and having a play in that lot. You can see by my glasses, I am absolutely soaked. The actual plume from the bottom of the waterfall is actually coming straight towards the camera, and the minute you get yourself set up to try and pick out some patterns there, the front of the lens is covered, and you can't do anything with it. So I'm going to give that up for a bit of a bad job, really. But I'm going to head back down towards the water, because there's lots of stuff going on. There's lots of windfall of wood and stuff going on down there, logs and what have you. And maybe we'll find something a bit more interesting down there. Okay, well, I was trying to use some of this pathway. If you can see that just behind me here, you've got a bit of a pathway going up to the waterfall, and try and make use of that tree in the background and everything that's going on. But where you want to stand, there's some nice bushes and stuff, and you just can't sort of get the composition balanced. So I had the camera in landscape orientation, and that meant with the 100 to 400, I had to go right the way back into the next postcode, and it kind of, the composition was kind of there, but then it would go again, and it was like, I don't know how to get around this. And then I figured, well, why not just go a bit closer and take more photographs and do a pano? And because I'm such a spoon, I thought that was the absolutely fantastic thing to do. So I've tried to do that now. I've tried to include the tree on the left-hand side, which is the first tree that I tried to photograph earlier in the video. I've kind of focused on that. Now that's going to go into darkness because of the way, again, it's very dark in here, and you've got the very white waterfall, which is kind of blowing everything out. So I'm trying to get a fast enough shutter speed, because I don't want the waterfall to be all sort of milky. I want to freeze the action. So I've had to go up to 1000 ISO on this one. So that's going to be interesting when we come to looking at the shadows and what have you. Now there's going to be quite a lot of shadows on here, because as I go to the left-hand side of that tree I've centered underneath the waterfall, but to the left-hand side of it you've got lots of scrub and broken down trees and stuff like that. So that is going to have to go into shadow if it can. It's in shadow already, but I don't know how noisy that's going to be. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. It's about a 12 shot pano, this one actually, but I tried to include the path, but that wasn't happening, I don't think. But anyway, here it is. Let's learn from this one. I'm having a bit of a nightmare at the minute. I know there's a shot here somewhere. It's very messy. I've come to the other side of the river and I try to make use of see the cascade coming over there, the waterfall coming over there, but then making use of these little cascades in the front of it just to set it, and I can't see it. I'm getting a bit I'm frustrating myself. I don't know why, because the images that I've taken, they're all unbalanced. You know, you've got a cascade coming in at the wrong point and all this sort of stuff. So it's very, I'm trying to be very careful in where I set the camera up. Now it gets very deep and I can't really go paddling out there because I haven't got my boots, because again, I'm a spoon and didn't bring all that sort of stuff with me. So I'm just getting a bit frustrated. I'm trying to take a step back and say, right, hold your horses a minute, take a breather, and then approach it again, because it's just not working. I was just down there with some further cascades just down the road, just downstream, and I don't know, it looked like it worked, but then it didn't. So we'll keep on keeping on, as they say. I think that's going to be the way forward, I think. But I know in this area there is definitely a composition to be had, but I can't find it. This is one of those times that it really is very, very frustrating. You've got all this beautiful cascades and stuff coming down with the big waterfall in the background, and I'm taking images that don't even have the waterfall in the background either, and they're just not balancing. They're just not right. So I don't know. I think the mojo's gone today. So I'm probably going to head back because I've got a 3.5 hour drive home. This is one of these sort of places where I'm working here this morning. Let's put a quick search, see what's around, and here we are at this falls. But it's very, 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 very nice waterfall. Well worth coming if you ever get the chance. Well, it certainly is getting a bit dark now. I think that's going to be it for today. I'm going to head back to the car. Frustration, definitely frustration is the word for today's little adventure. But I think I've got a couple of images that I'm going to be chuffed with, and hopefully you like the ones that I have shared with you today. Stick around for the gallery at the end of the video, because I'll have all the settings and stuff there. I know some people are interested in that, so that'll be in the gallery. In the description below is affiliate links for all the gear that I use, if that's of interest to you, and we'll do all this again next time. Bye for now.